So who is responsible for deducting withholding tax? In other words, withholding tax means the person who is paying you is reporting to KRA that you have earned an income. Hello and welcome again to another episode of the Prosperity Thrive Drive, where we thrive boldly and prosper fully. My name is Charity Mwangi, your host and a financial consultant. Today we are going to look at withholding tax, and withholding tax is quite wide. So we'll just look at a few sources of income that are charged withholding tax. We'll look at who deducts withholding tax, what sources of income are charged withholding tax, at what tax rates, by when should we do the returns, and who is not affected by withholding tax. So withholding tax is tax deducted at source before payment is done. It's a way for the government to collect tax early and ensure compliance. In other words, withholding tax means the person who is paying you is reporting to KRA that you have earned an income. For example, if a company hires a consultant for whatever service and they agree on a fee of, let's say, 100,000, the company paying will withhold 5% of that 100,000 and will end up paying the consultant 95,000. Then the 5,000 will be remitted to KRA on behalf of the consultant. And after remitting to KRA, both the consultant and the company paying will receive an email that will have a withholding certificate. So who is responsible for deducting withholding tax? It's companies, government agencies, NGOs, and anyone in business. So the person withholding tax is called a withholding agent. And for a withholding agent, you need to be compliant. Every time you make such payment, you need to withhold the tax required and remit the same within 5 days to KRA. Failure to make payment on time and to file on time will attract penalties and interest. So withholding tax has different rates depending on the source of income. And we'll look at the different sources of income that are charged withholding tax and the rate of the withholding tax. The rate of tax that I will give will be for the residents. Number one incomes that I will combine is the management fees, professional fees, and consultancy fees. All these are charged at 5%. The other one is winning of betting and gaming competition. The betting company withholds 20% of the amount that the participant has won and remits the same to KRA. The other one is royalties, and this is charged at 5%. We also have qualifying dividends, for example, the ones that you would receive from SACCOs, and these are charged at 5%. Interest from banks or money market funds, these are charged at 15%. Insurance commission for brokers are charged at 5%, and insurance commissions for others are charged at 10%. Digital content monetization is charged at 5%. If you offer sales, promotion, and marketing services, there's a withholding tax of 5% that is charged. There are also other people that are appointed as withholding tax agents for rental income. And in this case, you withhold 7.5%, meaning you withhold the full amount of tax that the landlord would have paid, since the rental income tax is 7.5%. So in some cases, withholding tax is final, meaning you will not be required to pay any more extra tax, but in some cases, it is not final. For non-resident individuals, withholding tax is final, but for resident individuals, in some cases, withholding tax is not final. We also have exemptions for withholding tax. And these include, number one, dividends received by a company resident in Kenya from a local subsidiary or associated company in which it controls directly or indirectly 12.5% or more of the voting power. Number two is royalties, interest, management fees, professional fees, training fees, consultancy fees, agency and contractual fees paid by a special economic zone developer, operator, or enterprise in the first 10 years of its establishment to a non-resident person. The other one is payments made to tax-exempt bodies. The other one is residence management fees, consultancy fees, professional fees that are below 24,000 in a month. So as a withholding agent, it's very important that once you deduct this withholding tax from a consultant or any individual, that you remit the same to KRA within 5 days. Common mistakes to look out for in regards to withholding tax. Number one is entering the wrong PIN for the consultant. This means that you might end up forwarding tax for a different person whom you've not engaged. The other mistake that I've seen is that the paying company might remit the withholding tax twice. That means before KRA, it shows that you have earned twice. So if your invoice was 100,000 and the person paying does your transaction twice on iTax, it will show that you have earned 200,000. So whenever you have offered services that are charged withholding tax, always look out for the withholding tax certificate and don't ignore if you receive 2 withholding certificates. So deducting and remitting withholding tax on time will save your business from costly penalties. It also shows financial integrity since your clients and the consultants that you have engaged can trust you to deduct and remit their taxes. Thank you for joining me in this episode as we discuss the withholding tax in our tax series. See you in our next episode where we'll be talking about VAT versus turnover tax versus corporate tax. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, like and share this episode with someone who is offering consultancy services or professional services so that they can be more enlightened. Also to note, as a person who has been offering consultancy services or professional services during the year, at the end of the year, you're required to file your returns and include the withholding tax that has been deducted so as to reduce the amount of tax that you're supposed to pay at the end of the year. Thank you and see you in our next episode.